Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, word to my brethren all around the world watching this video. Hope you're having a great day today as you're tuning in. Do yourself a damn favor and hit that subscribe button, and surely you will not be disappointed. Now, to get into the boxing, I got an article in front of me. It's from BBC.com. All right, the BBC Sport. Basically, it's a legendary promoter, top-ranked promoter, Bob Arum, saying that Anthony Joshua, the unified heavyweight champion of the world, needs to come to America, and he desperately needs to fight in the U.S. soon. So we'll get into what he said. Here's what Bob Arum said in regards to the unified heavyweight champion coming to America to make his American debut. He said, I quote, "He really needs desperately to come to fight in the United States. And I say that not because I'm an American. I say that because economically, the U.S. market is still the most important, because a pay-per-view in the United States has the potential of 200 million, 150 million homes." Then he goes on by saying, in regards to the heavyweight division, and here's what he said about, just the heavyweight division and what people are saying. He said, I quote, where is it at? I literally just saw it. Fuck. I had it right here. Oh, it was the funny thing about this article was, like, Bob Arum referred to. He referred to Anthony Joshua's last couple of opponents as no-hopers. So we'll get into that here in a second. But here's what he said about the heavyweight division. He said, in the U.S., if you ask people who the #1 heavyweight is, I think many people will say Tyson Fury. I second that notion. Okay. And then in regards to calling his opponents no-hopers, he said, I quote, where is it? Yeah, he basically said that that his fights in the UK against no-hopers have damaged his credibility. So I mean, I don't know where, Vladimir Klitschko, Joseph Parker, at the time he fought Parker, they weren't necessarily no-hopers. But he is right. Anthony Joshua does have to come to the States. He does have to, make his American debut soon. So my thing is this: if Bob Arum, arguably, even still to this day, the best promoter in the game of boxing, in the sport of boxing, if he can sense that Anthony Joshua needs to make his American debut soon to raise his profile, then why wouldn't Eddie Hearn, who's his promoter, who's got a pretty good grip on reality, why would he not know that Anthony Joshua needs to make his American debut soon? You see what I'm saying? Ever since the Canelo Rocky Fielding fight, I've thought that Anthony Joshua making his American debut was his next fight. Regardless of what they said about Fury, regardless of what they said about Wilder, and regardless of what they said about Dillian White, who, by the way, they're lowballing the hell out of Dillian White. And, Eddie Hearn is putting a lot of pressure on Dillian White to take an offer that White, as a fighter, doesn't seem to like. So, and the funny thing is, Joshua White is an in-house matchroom fight, so you would think that that should be the easiest fight to make. But, Eddie Hearn has kind of created a monster in Dillian White, because he has become a pay-per-view box office draw in the UK, and we'll get into that later on in another video. But yeah, man, Bob Arum can sense that Anthony Joshua needs to come to America, that he needs to raise his profile, and he's right. He's absolutely right, because quite frankly, in America, I mean, I can't speak for the UK. I can only speak from what I can see from the outside looking in. But from what I can say about America is we have a lot of sports here. We have a lot of entertainment options here. We have the NBA, we have the NFL, we have baseball, we have the MLB, we have hockey, we have college sports, which is a big deal here. For those of you in the UK who don't know, college sports is a big deal in America. College football, college basketball. We have the UFC. There is a lot of sports and entertainment options. And boxing sometimes gets lost in the fold. It gets lost in the landscape, the overall landscape of American sports. And that's why Anthony Joshua needs to come to America, because quite frankly, a lot of people do not know him like that yet here in the States. Okay? Best example I can give you of that was when Anthony Joshua I think I'm gonna say it was last May or June, when he came to America. He was on vacation or holiday or whatever, and he went to the Golden State Warriors basketball game, and he sat courtside. Okay? When he did that, the announcers called him Anthony Johnson, and they didn't know that they actually had his name wrong. Okay, so that just tells you right there that he has a lot of work to do in terms of building his profile. And what better way to build his profile than to come fight at New York City, at the Mecca of boxing, Madison Square Garden. I'm sure I've said that once they confirm and get the date done, I think it'll be one of the bigger events this country has seen in boxing in quite some time, for a number of reasons. I'll lay them out for you right here. The reason I think Anthony Joshua's American debut will be one of the biggest events this country has seen in quite some time is because, for one, he is someone that is the unified heavyweight champion of the world. Got all these belts, so that's number one. Number two, he's an undefeated knockout artist. Number three, you know, ESPN, all these networks are going to want to talk to him because he's probably, of the three heavyweights, the top big heavyweights, Wilder, you know, Fury, you know, AJ is he fits a certain image that just tends to sell. I'm not, you know, he's clean cut, you know, he you know, no homo, but people think he looks, a lot of people would say that he's a good looking guy. And, you know, he's got all the belts. He is recognized, even by the most hardcore purist of boxing fans, he is recognized by a lot of people as the man in the heavyweight division. And so you have that, and when you factor in that the British usually travel very well for big fights in America, you know, and they traveled very well for Fury versus Wilder in LA, which is, you know, all the way on the other, you know, I'm in South Florida, so it's all the way on the other coast of the country. It's a further trip for the Brits than going to New York City. And believe you me, when he comes and fights in America, you best believe a lot of those Brits will go on holiday. They will come here for his American debut, and you will see a lot of British flags at the Madison Square Garden. Make no mistakes about it. So when you have all that, when you have the fact that I think Jarrell Miller will his mouthpiece and who he is, he'll help sell the fight. And I think he'll be even able to raise his profile within the States as well. You know, I just think, like, it makes too much sense. And I know if I'm thinking of it this way, Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing, and all parties involved on that side, they've already thought about what I'm saying 15 times over. If he hasn't, then he's not a good promoter. But I'm just saying, like, but he is a good promoter. He's one of the best in the business. Some would even say the best. Sometimes I think he is the best promoter. I don't know, man. Bob Arum still, you know, he still got it. You know, still got it. He still gives Eddie a run for his money, and I think Bob Arum is doing a hell of a job over there at Top Rank. But yeah, Bob Arum can sense that Anthony Joshua needs to fight in the States, and I think that right there, if that's not an indicator of what will happen next, or what should happen next, what you should expect to happen next, then I don't know what is. Because my thing is, Bob Arum's been in this business for a long time. He knows when to move a fighter, how to move a fighter. He's built so many pay-per-view stars, and if he's saying this, then you know Eddie Hearn has to kind of get a sense of that as well, because how much bigger can Anthony Joshua get than he already is in the UK? You know, he's already had the big fight with Klitschko. He's already had the big domestic dust-up with Dillian White. You know, will the rematch really be that much bigger? Yeah, we'll sell out Wembley, but I'm just saying, like, is it going to do much for his profile? Will it make people around the world globally know who Anthony Joshua is more? No, it won't. But will coming to America, coming to New York City, the mecca of boxing, Madison Square Garden, to fight Jarrell Baby Miller. I'm not saying that it's a great fight, but I'm saying, like, to fight an undefeated, loudmouth, boisterous, entertaining Brooklyn heavyweight in his backyard, you know, would that not sell? I think it would. I think it does. I think it would be, at this point in time, if I'm speaking from, like, just like what would be best for Anthony Joshua's career to continue to build his name, it's definitely right now at this point, it's the Jarrell Miller fight. Not because of Jarrell Miller, but because of him making his American debut. Because my thing is this: if he beats Jarrell Miller, which many people are expecting him to do, and then let's say he fights Wilder next after that, the Wilder fight is then bigger because now he has raised his profile here in America, and more people know who Anthony Joshua is, and more people are going to be willing to tune into that fight where they saw this guy, you know, knock Jarrell Miller out or whatever, or beat him, and then, you know, he can go, he can fight for undisputed, and that fight is bigger because of his profile over here. So you see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. But that's the news. Bob Arum saying that Anthony Joshua desperately needs to fight in America very soon, because that's what he needs to do to raise his profile overall as a fighter. So I want you guys to let me know in the comments, what do you think about Bob Arum's claims? Do you think Anthony Joshua's next move should be to fight Jarrell Miller in the States and make his American debut? I think that's what they've done all along. I think business-wise, it's what makes the most sense for him right now. because the Fury Wilder fight will be bigger if he waits for it a little bit longer. And I hate to say that, but that's just that's the cold, harsh reality. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Take the time to subscribe. Like I say in every single one of my gosh darn videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just giving dang it. So until next time, take care, guys.